Hey, how's it going? Gareth James here for MTT Poker School.com, and today I'm back with another part of my review of the mini Sunday Million that I chopped, and this is the last hand we left off on, so we are going to move on to the next one. King Jack offsuit here, definitely going to go ahead and open, taking that down. Pocket sixes, so we see a shove for about 2.5 big blinds. Our hand is definitely good enough to play against that, but we do have to think about the other hands around the table, or at least the other stacks around the table. So there's a 21 big blind, 22 big blind stack behind us, 30 big blind stack, a 19 big blind stack, a bigger stack in the small blind, and another sort of 18-ish big blind stack in the big blind. So we've got some options here. The options are to call and then potentially fold if, say the small blind decides to shove, or we can raise and force out some players, or we can just go ahead and shove ourselves. So what I'm actually going to do is run this hand in HRC just to see what it thinks we should do with the pocket sixes here. Okay, so I'm going to create an advanced hand, and I'm going to paste in the stacks. I'm going to click next, and the original guy goes all in, and we're going to allow flat calls and over calls, and then a 3-bet as well. So just to keep the options simple, so we can either flat call the shove, or we can shove as well. If we click next and then click finish, and I'll just pause the video whilst this runs so you don't have to sit through this bar going up. Okay, so it's all done. So what we do is you click this little arrow next to the original shover's range, and we've got all these different options now for calling or 3-betting. We go to us, and we can see that it wants us to just go ahead and call with the sixes, and with a lot of other hands in this range. And then if we click this arrow next to us, when we call, we can just see, okay, what do we do if the next guy along shoves? Then we're going to end up folding the sixes, but we have a lot of other hands that we can call with. If the big stack goes ahead and shoves, then we just call with 10s plus 8s queens suited. So it looks like the call was the right way to go here. 4s plus, all out of the way. So that is what we did. We did call, and then it felt like everyone else came along as well. Not a great flop for us. When it checks to us on the turn, I think now betting for value and protection is good. I think if Ivan had 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, basically any hand that was better than us pre-flop, he would have just shoved. Same for the big blind. So we can be pretty confident here that we have the best hand. I think a king bets on the flop. I think there's a chance that someone has an 8, mainly just the big blind. And if he doesn't lead on this turn, then the chances of him having an 8 are much, much lower. So I just go ahead and bet pretty small for protection, and they both fold. And we scoop the pot against 5s. Okay, 10, 6 of clubs here. See the cutoff open, he's got us covered. We definitely defend here. Flop, gut shot and a backdoor flush draw, so definitely don't want to be folding. He goes on the bigger side here. We definitely want to continue. Whether we continue for a call or a raise is up for debate, I guess. I just decided to call in this instance. I think you can raise some frequency. I think having more equity is going to be slightly better. Either having more equity or less equity is going to be better in this situation. So having like a jack 10 of clubs might work out better as a raise, and having like a really weak gut shot with a backdoor flush draw might work out as a raise. It's tough to say exactly what the game theory would have you do here, but we definitely need to continue when we have a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. So we did check through, and we definitely have to bluff now. We have 10 high, and we can get him to fold some king high and queen high and jack high. We're not trying to get him to fold an ace at this point. If he has an ace, he's definitely going to go ahead and call. So it's not a case of, if he does call, oh no, our bluff didn't work. We're trying to target the weaker hands of in his range. I mean, he should have like 10s, jacks, queens, and kings as well to call here, and he should have some 9x. It's whether or not those hands should definitely bet for that sizing on the flop again is up for debate. But he could definitely have those hands, and those hands will be calling here. So really, we're trying to target the jack, queen, king high hands that should just fold at this point. Jack 5 decide to raise. This is quite interesting because I think now I'll be doing lots of limping in the small blind. Clearly at this point I was doing some raising. If he's folding too much to raises though, it's a good spot just to go ahead and raise. I mean, he needs to be defending pretty wide here, and he probably isn't, and that's why we chose to raise. On this board, I think he's going to be 3-betting his best ace-x. He's going to have some ace-x, he's going to have some broadways, king-queen, queen-jack, queen-10, and some gut shots, jack-10, king-jack, those kind of hands, and some flush draws, but then he's also going to have a whole lot of nothing, and we bet, and he folds. Okay, king-10, see it raise, we're just going to go ahead and fold. Ace-10 here, we're going to open, and everyone's going to fold. Fold all these hands. King-9 probably going to play. See a raise and a 3-bet. Now we've got to fold. Queen-3, see if it folds to us. It doesn't, so we're just going to fold. Okay, 5-4 of hearts here. See a 3x, and we decide to fold. I don't think we get to fold here. I think our hand is just too suited and too connected to want to go ahead and fold here. So what we're thinking about in this situation when you're in the big blind is how good this hand is going to be at realizing equity. Now, any two cards close together or connected and any two suited cards are going to do a pretty good job at realizing their equity. So this should be a call here. Not sure why we folded. Maybe it was against the 3x. Maybe he was super tight, and versus the 3x going to be even stronger or even tighter. Even then, I think our hand is going to realize enough equity out of position here, where we should be putting money into the pot. Jack 10 here, I just decide to fold. I think Queen Jack off is a call. Jack 10 off, clearly not quite strong enough. At least that's what I thought at the time. Jack 8, probably just going to be a fold. Okay, King Queen, we open, and we get flatted in the cutoff, and we get this flop. So 9 of hearts, 5 of diamonds, 2 of hearts. We've got a couple of options then. We can check or we can bet, and if we do choose to bet, we need to choose the appropriate sizing. We do have some strong hands on this board. We have at least a set of 9s and a set of 5s. We have ace 9, king 9, queen 9, jack 9, 10 9, 9 8, maybe even 9 7. We also have the overpairs, and then we've got the flush draws, and then we've got some backdoor flush draws as well. So there's plenty of hands to choose from to bet. I also think this hand is a bet because we have the king of hearts, so we can make a backdoor flush draw, but we also block him from having a hand like king queen of hearts, king jack of hearts, king 10 of hearts. So that's a decent number of flush draws that he could possibly have that we block, and therefore he won't have and can't call on the flop. Having a queen of diamonds is also pretty significant because he could have a hand like ace queen of diamonds, king queen of diamonds, queen jack, queen 10 of diamonds, which versus a small sizing is probably going to be those hands that call. So with 2 overcards and a backdoor flush draw, he probably shouldn't be folding those hands to a small sizing. So we have some 2 significant blockers in this hand, so I think betting is good. We decide to bet small. I think this might be a spot where we're actually supposed to bet big and really put pressure on him from the outset. But we do bet small, and he calls. 2 of clubs on the turn. I think now we just have to give up. We didn't improve. A 10 or a jack or a king or a queen or a heart would have been good. But we didn't hit any of those, so we check, and now he bets, and we just have to fold. Okay, we see a shove. This is very close. I'm not sure what I chose to do here. I did choose to fold. This could be a mistake. Let's run it in HRC and find out. Okay, so here's the spot. Under the gun shoves, folds around to us, and we should be calling with any ace. So this is a very clear mistake. folding the ace-6 offsuit here. We could edit this range to make this call better, or sorry, this fold look better. But I think, he has, what is it, seven-ish big blinds. He's going to be shoving pretty wide, and this is probably pretty good. So yeah, I don't want to edit this just to make my fold look good. This is just a mistake. So the reasons why we potentially could edit the range is that he's not shoving close to Nash. He's a more recreational player and is shoving a lot tighter. But he is under the gun with 7 bigs, and he's got to worry about going through the blinds. So he's probably, he probably is, even without knowing it, shoving a bit closer to Nash. No fold here. Queen Jack offsuit. I definitely want to go ahead and open. If we open, we're going to call the small blind and decide against the big blind. They both fold, and we take it down. I see a raise. We're just going to fold a7. Folding a lot of this junk. Let's make sure we don't open Jack 10 off. Good. Okay, so we see a raise and a call and another call, and definitely want to call here. Getting fantastic odds. Okay, so we have a decision with the flush draw. I mean, we're getting an incredible price. We're getting the direct odds to draw to our flush here. So we have 9 outs once. That's going to be around 18%, and the odds we're getting is 14%. So we're definitely clearing that. The potential downside here is that we're up against a better flush draw, and so there's huge reverse implied odds in this spot. I don't think we get to fold, but we do have to be pretty careful here. Now this guy bets into 3 players, and it's a very, very easy fold on the turn. Okay, so a raise off a short stack. These spots can be kind of interesting because I think we're supposed to VPip here. I see a lot of players, they see, okay, well, he raised off less than 20 bigs, so our only option is to 3-bet, get it in, or fold. That's just not the case. I think these hands suited broadways, King Jack suited, King 10 suited, Queen Jack suited, those kind of hands are going to play pretty well as a flat here. I don't know what I chose to do at this stage. This was a little while ago. So I did just decide to fold. I think if he's super tight, we should just fold. But if he's continuing to open in reasonable range, then we should be VPipping. King 10 of diamonds again. I'm going to go ahead and open. Big blind calls. And we get a 7-4 to of clubs board. So I think we can definitely just go ahead and bet. He has a short stack, and I feel like he's probably just going to be jamming a lot of his strong flush draws on the flop. It's pretty tough for him to have hit this board, I think. So we can just go ahead and bet small. He does call the 10 of clubs on the turn, so we know how showdown value. I don't think we want to go ahead and bet here. And then we improve to top 2, and he bets just over quarter pot. It's unlikely this is ever a bluff, and it's one of those spots now where we have a top two pair. We are pretty close to the top of our range because we would continue to bet our flushes on the turn. I mean, maybe we have some really strong flushes that we check back on the turn. But I think most of the time we just continue to bet. So, yeah, I mean, we have a bluff catcher here. It's unlikely this is ever a bluff, but we're getting an incredible price. So we're going to call and be showing the 8 of clubs. Interesting. Open ace-4 of spades here. We get flatted on the button. Flop 2 pair. So I'm not sure what I chose to do here. I did decide to bet. I think generally ace-high boards are going to be much better for us. Obviously we have the strong ace-x hands here, but we are playing multi-way, and so things will change slightly. If we're playing heads up, I definitely think we should go ahead and bet here. But multi-way, there's some chance that we should be doing some checking. but we decided to go ahead and bet, and we get raised. It's a really interesting spot. So he could definitely have pocket nines. He could definitely have ace nine. And he could also be raising here with, slow played like ace king, or maybe he flats here with ace queen and is really just pushing equity because he knows that we're going to go ahead and bet the ace high boards a lot of the time, and with hands that ace queen beats. And if he's got ace queen, I mean, it's only ace king, aces and nines that we could have, well, ace four as well, that he loses to. So yeah, I think those are the things that's going on here. He could just have a complete bluff as well. So if he's pretty strong and then have some bluffs, we can't shove because he just folds out all the bluffs and just continues with the hands that beat us. I mean, occasionally he has the ace queen in this spot, but yeah, I think we just call here. We check, he continues to bet, and we just have another call, and pretty nice river. So we are now ahead of pocket nines. We still lose to ace nine, and any strong ace x hand here, he's just not gonna fold, or at least not bet. And he jams, we call, and he has 8-7 off. So that was a nice gift from this player. Really not sure what he's doing. I don't think that's going to be the correct way to play 8-7 at this point. That's 6-5 off. We should be defending, which we do. So interesting, we defend the 6-5 off versus a min raise, but we don't defend 5-4 suited versus a 3x. We check, he bets, overbets, and it's a very straightforward fold. We fold the ace-8 off. Lots of folding. See what we do here. Guy opens and a jam. We're going to fold. King 9. Let's see. I see a raise and a 3-bet. We're going to fold again. Jack 2 off. Ace 10 off. We're definitely going to open here. So again, just have a look at the stack sizes. These two can definitely shove. This guy can 3-bet and flat. Everyone just folds. King 10, going to open again. Everyone just folds. Ooh, pick up the aces. See a raise, and we have a decision. So we can either flat here and potentially induce some action behind, or we can choose to 3-bet. Now, if this player is pretty tight and is opening from early position, chances are the range of hands they're opening here is pretty strong, and will be happy to continue versus the 3-bet. If he's opening a lot of hands here, then a lot of them are going to fold, and we don't want that to happen when we've got aces. Also, things to think about, maybe the two players to our left and the big blind can shove. So if they are pretty aggressive, flatting here with your very strong hands is going to make a lot of sense, because then they shove and you've got a very easy call. If you're only ever flatting here with, let's say, 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, and then some suited broadways and occasional like ace queen off, then we just sort of wide open. They can shove, and we do have some pocket 10s, pocket 9s to call, and ace queen to call, but we've got a lot of other hands that just are too weak. So we can definitely call here, but I choose to 3-bet probably because he's if this was the same guy, wasn't it? The 8-7 off guy. So this could be another reason why you want to 3-bet to put more money into the pot. So yeah, that's what I did, and he shoves. And yeah, a cooler for him. But yeah, not too much to talk about after that. Turn 3 off. This is a fold. I was just looking at his stack size. So if he has, say, the same number of chips as us, then 3-bet folding with this hand would make some sense, because I don't think it's good enough to flat, and we can take hands that aren't good enough to flat to turn into 3-bet bluffs. But this one is just going to be a fold because he's short. See a raise. I think we can call or 3-bet. Just decide to call here. We flop top pair, and he checks. Now, it would have been really interesting to see what would happen if he did bet, because we're seeing more and more now where I would have check raised this hand to get it in on the flop. I think he can have a lot of worse or weaker Jack X hands. We want to have some bluffs, and this is one of the strongest hands we have because 10s and jacks we probably 3-bet. Jack 10s suited and 5s is probably the best hands we have, and then this hand. So we can raise this hand for value. But as I said, this was played a little while ago, and I don't think I was doing that at that point. So it'll be interesting to see. So now we just have a clear value bet with top pair, top kicker, and he just folds. Okay, ace queen off here. So raise for 3x and a shove. And again, this is a pretty interesting spot. So seeing a 3x raise off 16 big blinds is a little bit scary, and then a shove over that as well. I don't know what I did here, and it could be a spot where I make a really nitty fold. Let's find out quickly. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's run this in HRC just to see if this is a mistake, or if it isn't a mistake, then what hands are we supposed to be calling with here? Okay, so I've given the original raiser 2 options. He can either 3x or he can shove all in. So it does have him splitting his range here, which may or may not be his strategy. But yeah, he's incentivized to go ahead and shove some hands off this stack size and to raise some hands off this stack size. You can see that it's weighted towards the stronger pairs, and then some weaker ace-x, and these other hands, ace king off, ace queen, ace king suited, these other hands are just making their way into a shoving range. So now he raises and Marijo shoves, and our range for calling here is it does include ace queen off, but as you can see it's very, very marginal, 0.07. so I'm actually okay with folding here. We are fairly deep into the tournament now, and I think going with 10s plus, ace queen suited, ace king off is going to be fine. 9s is probably too good as well. But yeah, ace queen off 0.07 is it's okay to find the fold here in what is a fairly soft tournament where we don't need to take the thinnest of edges. Also with ICM, this number could change, so it might not even be profitable with the ace queen offsuit here. So did fold. I get it in 10s versus ace queen. Seems reasonable by both players. Here we decide to raise again. Again, if this guy is folding too much, then just raising and taking it down would be fine. I think my strategy for the small blind has changed somewhat in recent months. Okay, so we see a raise here, and it folds to us with the ace queen, so we can either flat or we can 3-bet. I think flatting here is good. I think if we were in slightly earlier position, 3-betting would be good. But here the chances of us playing heads up with this hand is pretty high. So I think flatting here is good, and we keep in all the weaker ace-x that when we 3-bet probably just fold. The flop is 3, 8, 9. He bets pretty small. I think I just fold here. Oh, I don't. I call. So I was going to say that I think I fold here, and we potentially should call, but we are much better off calling here with some kind of backdoor flush draw. If he is betting weaker ace-x or king-x hands here, then we're ahead of ace-jack and king-queen and queen-jack and ace-10. So we are ahead of some of his hands that he chooses to bet here. We do have 2 overcards in case he has 10s or jacks. So it seems okay. I would just prefer to have some kind of backdoor equity. He now checks the 3. I think there's still a great chance that we're ahead here. So I don't think we want to go ahead and bet here on the turn. I hope I didn't. Okay, I did check back. So we still beat the king queens, the queen jacks, the ace 10s, the ace jacks. He checks again, and we just want to go ahead and check. We have enough showdown value here. He does have king queen, and we take it down. King queen spades here, going to open. I see a flat from a guy with 18 bigs, so this could be very, very strong, or a guy that doesn't know that you can't really flat off this stack size, or it could be a guy who's thinking along the lines of I was in sort of 10 minutes ago when I talked about the king 10 of diamonds hand, where you can flat those sort of Broadway hands. So we'll see this. The small blind comes along as well. We flop top pair, so we can bet or we can check here. I think checking and allowing the button to do something would be fine. We're just never folding. If we bet the button, sorry, if we check and the button bets and then the small blind shoves, we still going to be getting it in here. So we did check, and the button checks back. This is kind of weird. Jack of clubs. We now have a lot of equity. Even we have top pair with a decent kicker, and now we have an open-ended straight draw as well. I don't think we want to be giving any more free cards, so I think betting here is good. We see a call. He now checks, and we have a decision whether we can value bet or we want to check. And I think value betting is good. I think he can have some hands like Queen Jack, Ace Jack. He can have maybe some weaker kings. King 9 is the only one really. King 9 suited. So I think we can definitely value bet here. And as we're playing against him, we are going to have some bluffs in this spot. We're going to have just a random queen. We're going to have some clubs. We're going to have some hearts that we didn't bet on the flop. So I think that's fine. And he just folds. And we're up over 1 million chips. Okay, ace-8 of hearts. I see a limp from a short stack. I wouldn't mind to see a limp behind here. I don't think we want to raise and then he shoves and then we end up calling, and that doesn't seem too good. I did actually just choose to fold, which is surprising, but not not terrible. Let's just see what happens. Okay, pretty boring hand. Okay, folding the 6-5 off. See if we play the 6-4 suited. So he has 50 bigs. This is pretty close to being a call or a 3-bet. I think we're making just a little bit of money by V-pipping here, but if we fold, I don't think we're making too big of a mistake. If we are making money here, it's going to be, the EV is going to be pretty small, so folding it is going to be absolutely fine. I see a raise off a 14 big blind stack. We're just going to fold. Okay, 6-2 suited. See a raise. Definitely want to call here, which we do. Check, check. I think we just check again. I mean, we have so many bluffs here. A hand with a 9 in, a hand with a 10 in, a hand with spades. Maybe hands with 6x or 5, well, 6 in them or a 5 in them. It's going to be good. Saying that, we do have a hand with a 6 in it, but I think we're just going to have too many bluffs if we start bluffing here. Having said all of that, I wonder if this is an opportunity to check raise. Probably not. It's probably just a fold, which is what we did. It's always just worth considering. Like, his range is not going to be that strong. Like, he never has 6-5. He would have bet the flop, and we have a 6. It makes it really tough for him to have 6-5 suited, or at least tougher. And so, like, his hands in this spot is going to be like 9s, 10s, a weak jack, maybe like ace king, ace queen, and those hands were not going to feel great when we check raise. So I think we should be check raising 6-2 of spades because we have more equity. It's one of those spots where we probably don't have enough equity to call, but we can raise with it. But yeah, letting the 6-2 of hearts go. Fold jack 9 off. 7-6 off. King queen off. Okay. I think I remember this hand, and I think I'm going to save it for the next part because I want to do some PIO analysis on it. If I just show you what happens, we raise, he 3-bets, but really small. We call, and we flop a gut shot and flush draw. He bets, and we call. 7 of diamonds goes check, check. He checks again, and we choose to bluff the river. Yeah, so an interesting hand, and I just want to look at this in PIO to see if this is the line we should be taking with this hand and how we should be playing the rest of our range. Really interesting spot, so I am going to save that for the next part. And also, no spoilers, does he call or does he fold? So that's the question. So that's going to wrap things up for this part. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been Gareth James for MTTPokerschool.com. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you really liked it, you can share it with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will catch you next time. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for checking out this video. If you would like free strategy articles and YouTube videos and free podcast episodes delivered straight to your inbox, then head over to mttpokerschool.com right now and sign up for our mailing list. I'll even throw in a free push fold guide and opening hand cheat sheet. What are you waiting for? Head to mttpokerschool.com right now.